Hello everybody, my name is Caroline Sweet, and today I would like to talk about banned books from my essay Don't Kill the Dragons. Now, I use dragons as a form of imagination in this slideshow, so whenever you see a dragon, it's kind of like a little hint of there's an idea or there's an imagination. Now, what are banned books? Banned books are books that have been deemed inappropriate by schools, libraries, the parents of the state and communities. Most of these books have to do with different types of subjects, and I'll show you the 5 top ones in a second on a graph. But these books are put into a trial, mostly based on 1 or so pages. Sometimes it's even just 1 word, and then they're put through these 4R system called reduction, relocation, restriction, and removal. So they reduce who they can sell the book to, they relocate the section, they restrict it from everyone, and then they just completely remove it. Here's the top 5 subject matters that are banned. There's also a couple more, but they're in the teens. Most of the books banned have to do with violence and physical abuse as the main subject, but these can also contain 1 or more topics, but the reason the book was banned was violence and abuse, or the reason it was banned was racial themes. Hopefully, this paints a picture of just how many topics are banned. And then hopefully this paints a picture of what types of books are banned, because young adult is the highest section of what is banned. Now, this middle grade is technically considered also a young adult, but it was just put in a different section by PEN America. And then, of course, you have picture books down here at 4, and then 1% of chapter books, but technically all of these are chapter books as the young adults, and middle grade. But the reason the young adult section is so large is because it's a large topic. It spans from about 10 years old to 19 or 20. Here's a little map of who has the most banned books. No surprise, Texas wins, with Florida and Mississippi as runner-ups. But what kind of shocked me is that Michigan has close to 30 banned books, even though in the curriculum of at least my school, we read a lot of banned books. Speaking of, here are some banned book titles that I'm almost positive you've either read or come across of, and the reason why they're banned. So, Anne Frank is banned because of sexual contact, tragic nature, and being a real downer. The Color Purple is banned for sexual contact, abuse, domestic violence, and treatment of religious themes. Charlotte Webb is banned for talking animals. People have said that talking animals is blasphemous and unnatural. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is banned because the Oompa Loompas are seen as racist, and there's some concern over the content. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is based off of the 7 Deadly Sins. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which is probably not a surprise. It's been a banned book since ever, as long as I can at least remember. But it's banned because of racist terminology. Some call it trash, not suitable for the slums. Where the Wild Things Are, one of my favorite storybooks as a kid, is banned for being too dark, talking animals, and sexually explicit content. To Kill a Mockingbird is banned for strong language, discussion of sexuality and rape, and racism. The Hate U Give, racism and police brutality. Harry in the Freedom Box, which is based off of a true story, is banned for racial content. Harry Potter, the entire series, is banned for witchcraft, and it sets a bad example, and it's too dark. And Tango Makes Three, another true story, these are actual penguins, is banned for LGBTQIA plus content because both of the penguins are male and they raise a chick. Fahrenheit 451 is banned for profanity, blasphemy, anti-Christian sentiments, depiction of vulgar, and drugs. The Wizard of Oz is banned for having no value for children, supporting negativism, portrayal of ungodly ideas, talking animals, and using witchcraft, and depicting a woman in a strong leadership role. Of Mice and Men is banned for explicit language in the depiction of violence, racism, sexism, and euthanasia. Alice in Wonderland is banned for drug use, body altering, euthanasia, mind-altering mushrooms, and putting animals on the same level as humans. And finally, the Lorax, he does speak for the trees, but because he speaks for the trees, people banned it for portraying the logging industry in a poor light because that would turn children against foresting industries. What can books do for people? And this is kind of a broad statement. It's not personal. There's no evidence of this, but what it can do for kids and teens is it can help them dream about anything they want. Like, remember when you used to fall asleep and just fall into knights in shining armors in your dreams? Yeah, that was the best time of my life. I couldn't wait to take a nap just so I can ride a dragon. It grows their imagination creatively. And I kind of like to think of it as the Lego movie. When, if you've seen it, there's a scene where the characters who are the master builders, I believe, are seeing the blueprints in their minds, and that's kind of how it teaches kids and teens to grow their imagination, is seeing things in their minds and then making them real. It can teach kids about other cultures, even if it's like their neighbor's culture. Because I know for certain my family is a lot different than the family next door. We have different foods that we enjoy. We have different languages that we speak. It helps grow our community. It also helps them find friends through different subjects. Like when you're a little kid and you're sitting on the playground, and then the first thing that someone asks you is like, oh, what do you like? And, oh, I love Ninjago. Or, oh, I love Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. That's how you find friends, is through books or movies or TV shows. It's through using the dragons or your imagination and your creativity. It helps find their ways in the world. So it's not just like everyone is an engineer mind or a straightforward mind. Like, you don't have to be so technical. You can be creative through the subjects that you love. And it helps them understand that keeping the dragon in your heart through troubled times is amazing. Like keeping those dragons in your mind and in your heart when you're struggling through school or can't seem to pass the subject, it keeps you motivated to keep trying because there's a little, just like the little dragon on your shoulder being like, come on, when you're done, we can go for a ride. And then as an adult, you can find new topics and reread old classics like Jane Austen and be like, great, I love this romance story. Or find a new book based off the classic because people have started reimagining classics. You can be a kid again by reading fantasy and, again, riding a dragon, or you become the knight in shining armor, or the character that you're reading is the knight in shining armor. It's just a little bit more grown up now. You can find a love to read in someone special, or finding that the love of reading is special to someone, and you can form adult connections like you used to do on the playground with your best friend. Now it could be romantically or it could be in your workplace. You get to escape from reality before work, during work, on your lunch break, or after work. It's just a nice way to calm down without blue light if you're not reading on a Nook or something, or your phone. But it's a way to just detox from everything that you had today. The meeting, the paper, the presentations, everything, and just be happy. You can understand things, like reading the paper and understanding what's going on the other side of the world. And you can remember to keep the dragons alive, and then hopefully the dragons can help you get you through your day. How you can help. Whether you're 52, 80, 90, or 15, 10 years old, the best way you can help is by reading and buying these BAM books. Because if you read them and then you talk about these books, even if it's just within your family or kids on the playground, it keeps the book alive enough for somebody to want to submit an appeal for the book to be reevaluated and then put back on the shelves. Because if the book is banned from a library system, no one can get that book. And if it's a public library, it kind of sucks. And then just letting your kids read about books that have some harder topics like racism or mental health or police brutality, and then talking about it in a safe space so that they're not just seeing it in the world one day, can help them become more confident in themselves and more comfortable with the world around them, and they can be more confident too. Here's some solutions that I thought of. And on the next page, I have kind of more of an example, but they're kind of basic. It's like color coding the books about what topics, a warning page explaining what's going on, something put on the student ID card in public schools, and having a broader rating for books. It's a lot better to see visually. So here's this warning page that I'm talking about. This is from The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which we all know is banned because it uses vulgar language. But it says right here that there is, in this book, a number of dialects are used, in which the Mississippi dialect, Pinckney County dialect, which are very old-fashioned and racist dialects. They use the N-word, but this is telling everyone right when they open the book, this is what to expect. This is where it's set. This is when it was. This is what is happening. And it gives them a warning before they start reading the first chapter. Having another section, like when in the 80s they added PG-13 in between PG and rated R, we can add a section called tween, which can be for kids 9-ish, 10-ish to 13, 14-ish, right in that transition stage between being a kid and being a young adult or a real teenager. And it'll just kind of hopefully make parents more comfortable if these books are in a separate section with books that don't have sex in it. Now, this is a student ID card. And in public school, if you went to a public school, you know for a fact that you had a student ID card where you would have to use it to swipe in for lunch. You'd have to give them for the library to check out books. But if we add a section to the student account, because when you swipe the card, it kind of pulls up your account, for the library, so parents can put, I don't want my kid reading this author or this type of books. It kind of will save the books for other kids, but not the student whose parent doesn't want them to read it. So let's take an elementary schooler wants to read Goosebumps, which is another banned book. It's banned for being too scary. And their parents put, my kid's not allowed to read Goosebumps. If they pick up the book and they swipe the card and it pops up, no Goosebumps, the library can refuse to give the book to a kid. And that'll kind of keep the school safe legally. But if the kid really wants to read this book, they need to have a signed note from the parent or guardian. And then color coding the books. Not just color coding on the bookshelf to make it look pretty. I know some people, that's how they organize their bookshelves. But color coding in a way of having just like a little circle on it, or a stripe out around the band, both from the top and the bottom, so that you know what color means what topic is being talked about. So like if it's yellow, it talks about physical abuse or mental abuse. It talks about death if it's red. It talks about LGBTQIA+ if it's purple. All that jazz. But all of these are to make these books come back on the shelves so that there's more warning and people can't say, oh, I was caught off guard that there was a death scene in this, or I was caught off guard that they use this type of language. There was warnings. That is the point of these solutions. There was warnings, there was an age rating, and there was protection to keep these books on the shelves. In conclusion, let's not burn the books. Please, this is not Fahrenheit 451. I'd be very sad. I've spent so much money on my book collection. I would actually cry if someone came into my house and burned my books in front of me. Look, even Toothless agrees. But if there is a book that is banned and you want to read it, just read the book. Do it, because any book worth banning is obviously a book worth reading. And don't forget to have fun in your life and dream about the dragons. That's not just for kids. Sit down with a cup of tea and read that fantasy book. I know you want to. Trust me, that's what I'm doing after this. I'm gonna sit down with a nice cup of tea, read my books. Haven't picked which one yet. I think I'm gonna go with a nice classic. Here's the links if you're interested in what you want to read. Some of these are the books that are banned, like a list of banned books and why they're banned. And you can seriously just Google list of banned books and 50 results will pop up. These are just the couple that I've used. And then one of these is for some of the pictures, and pen.org is talking about what are the steps of banning books. All that jazz. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please leave any questions and please go read that book. Have fun and read it. Thank you so much.